still should bring some people as extras, as actors, as behind the scenes, below the line. Right. That are from Altadena. There's a lot of creative people there in that community.
Okay, right. Okay, hold on 100%. I agree. Let me ask Ronald. You know I am. What's going on? Because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story. So she's driving me insane. Got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, and I'm about to feel the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light. Niece. Protect your home. Eyes in the front and the back of the head. Chase away evil forces. We can be there instead. So long as you bring the offense. He's got the ashe I can't deny. I am a witness, I'll testify. This song, my ODD, my sacrifice to the one who can do and undo. On paper, there's nothing wrong with the structure of these texts. They're formulated as, these are my boundaries, please respect them. It's perfectly okay to set boundaries with people, to tell them what your deal breakers are, and to decide to part ways if there happens to be an incompatibility between your needs and their needs. But when we get into the content of texts like these, it gets a little bit more complicated. Because while, yes, we all have a right to set whatever boundaries we want for ourselves, for other people, I think we're getting to a place in our culture where it's considered that we don't even have to do any sort of introspection or reflection on why our boundaries are the way that they are. There's not a whole lot of, hold on, let me see, is this boundary even appropriate to have? Is this maybe a controlling boundary? Like, telling someone that they can't go surfing with men when their job is to be a surf instructor? Let's think about that. Why is that a boundary that I have? Or if instructor posting a bikini photo, why is that a boundary that I have that my partner can't do that? Or hanging out with women who party, why do I not want my partner to do that? We're getting to a place where everyone has their boundaries and they're considered like set in stone, rigid, you have to respect them or else. And there's not a whole lot of, first of all, challenging, is this a boundary that maybe I should budge on a little bit, that maybe I need to do some work on when I get triggered by it? A few months ago, I posted a video on the difference between privacy and betrayal. And the gist of it was, privacy is, something that you do within the privacy of your own home or your own time or whatever. A betrayal is when what you choose to do with that privacy could hurt someone else if they knew about it. So for instance, if you go to brunch with your friend and you are gossiping to them about a different friend, is it your private right to do so? Yes, absolutely, but it could still be considered a betrayal by the person you're talking about. And so the question asked in that video is, at what point is a line crossed where someone has a specific boundary or a specific thing that they consider to be a betrayal that is actually very controlling of them to try to enforce? So, like a person who doesn't want their partner to ever leave the house without them, that's a boundary that they have. They might consider it a betrayal if their partner goes out of the home without them, but should it be? That is controlling behavior. Should that be a boundary that they have? And the conclusion I came to in that video was that we all have a right to whatever boundaries we have. And other people have a right to say, that doesn't work for me. And so ideally, in an ideal world, if someone has these hyper-controlling boundaries, they're not going to find anyone that is down for that. They're not going to find anyone who's compatible with their boundaries, because their partner is going to say, what do you mean I can't leave the house without you? Of course I'm going to do that. Let's break up. But now I'm also starting to wonder at what point...
That's Dr. Anna talking about weaponizing boundaries. And she leads us to yet another riveting, intriguing, maybe even disruptive topic tonight. It's going to be deep, and you already know what it is. This is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, live from KBLA, Talk 1580. You already know what it is. We're in the heart of Leimert Park. You know what that is. That's little Africa town up in here. Los Angeles on deck. But listen, every night we have a national discussion. People call in from all over the nation to share their thoughts on these profound, poignant topics about intimate relationships. And Dr. Anna just talked about weaponizing boundaries. We're going to take it a step further. Tonight's topic, talking to crazy. How the ego and the unhealed self seeks to weaponize the words of wisdom coming from therapists in order to remain unchanged. Many therapists get played. Yeah, they get paid for their time, but these people are not really trying to work. I was speaking with a therapist not more than an hour ago. And she was talking about the joy of working with people who are willing to do the work, who are willing to change. She was talking about her frustration when she has to kind of walk them through the mess they've made after not doing what she asked them to do. The one thing they come out of the session with is a new lexicon of words that their victimhood weaponizes in order to manipulate others. How does an unhealed ego attempt to weaponize the wisdom of therapists to maintain its current state? I'm not changing. How many people go to therapy to try to get the therapist to get on your side, to prove you right? How many couples, the therapy, it didn't work because one couple or one person in the couple was getting exposed? Well, I don't even like her. No. We got to get another therapist. Yeah. Huh? Tonight's topic, talking to crazy. Talking to crazy. The weaponization of therapy speak. And the ego's last fortress. See, the voice of reason is this type of show as well. Because we're not afraid to tackle any topic, we give language to many other platforms. Oh, I never heard it put that way. What a Sambo relationship. Oh, you mean Sambo was bootlicking and capitulating to Massa? He was in survival mode. Oh, I'm in a Sambo relationship if I'm people pleasing and compromising myself. Oh, because I'm in survival. Wow. See how the voice of reason, we give language to concepts people never even dreamed of imagining. Well, it happens to therapists a lot. Talking to crazy. Therapy gave us a lexicon meant to liberate, yet the unhealed ego has transformed it into a sophisticated arsenal. What began as the language of healing has mutated into the tongue of control. Right? Evasion and subtle domination. Phrases like, that's your projection. You're being toxic. I can't because of my attachment style, and I feel unsafe are no longer mere self-disclosures. They have become psychological landmines designed less to invite intimacy than to shut it down. Man, I literally, maybe two years ago. No, maybe a year. No, it was last year. A year ago, I was on a date with a sister. The sister literally said, okay, my ADHD is acting up. I was like, is it a rash? Is it itching? Maybe it was. I'm not here. I don't know. Consider this. When a partner says you're gaslighting me, is it always an honest, right, confrontation? Or can it be an attempt to coerce the other into validating a preferred narrative? When someone announces, I need to set a boundary, is it always about safety? Or can it be a velvet-gloved ultimatum? A way of disguising control as self-care? Huh? 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. We talking to crazy tonight. Let's get in here. Let's get in here. I want to hear from the community, the national community who listens to this show. I want to talk to y'all. The ego, as the great Krishnamurti insisted, thrives on certainty and resistance. Therefore, it bends every insight into armor. To weaponize therapy speak is to ensure one never has to change while appearing enlightened in the process. I've got the words now. It's gonna sound like I read a book. It's gonna sound like I got A's in my therapy session. But I haven't changed at all. I now have the languaging to weaponize the tools that were given to me to go to work on myself. If you're dealing with a good therapist, they're always going to point you back to what you can do about your situation. They're always going to cause you to reflect, to be mindful, to look at yourself, to pause, to consider. They're always going to do that. But if you got somebody who is resistant to the instructions that are being laid out, all the therapist is doing is giving them the language. How many times have you been with your partner who just came from therapy and they want to therapize you? See, what you need to do, let me tell you something. I've been to therapy 36 times now. And what you need to do, right? It's just like somebody who just found Christ. They're proselytizing. They're out there knocking on doors. Hey, come on into the warm embrace of Christ. Right? To weaponize therapy speak is to ensure one never has to change while appearing enlightened in the process. Right? Babette Rothschild, right? She reminds us that the body remembers what the mind represses. The trembling hand, the tight chest, the contracted breath. These reveal more than the tongue armed with jargon. Yet we live in an age where the mouth drowns out the body. Someone trembling with shame may override it with language. I'm just triggered by your avoidant energy. Here, jargon anesthetizes, right? The nervous system pleads for intimacy, but the ego colonizes that plea with technical jargon. It's a defense mechanism, a new defense mechanism. It sounds clinical. It sounds right. It's designed to convince you to let them out. Let them out of where? Out of the fun house where all the mirrors are so they can see their reflection. Oh. Ross Rosenberg's human magnet syndrome warns that codependents and narcissists lock into dances of mutual wounding. But notice the modern twist. Instead of breaking free, many now weaponize the very terms. You're the narcissist. I'm done with your codependency. Weaponizing clinical terms, as if naming the pattern ends the pattern. This keeps the ego safe because diagnosis replaces transformation. Okay, so you named your demon. That's part of the exorcism. You gonna confront him? You gonna confront the demon? Where your holy water? You got the prayers? You got your robe? You ready to go to war with the demon? Naming it is one part of the exorcism. How do you expel it? Right? Very interesting stuff. Mind maps, reality tunnels, and a tyranny of labels. Alfred Korzybski, creator of General Semantics and English Prime. The map is not the territory. Yet Therapy-Speak seduces us into mistaking relational maps for living terrain. Calling someone avoidant dismissive or dismissive avoidant may describe a pattern, but it collapses their humanity into a taxonomy. Robert Anton Wilson spoke of reality tunnels, narrow perception prisons. Today, we live in therapy tunnels, lined with neon buzzwords. You're toxic. I'm triggered. Y'all in a trauma bond. That's a red flag. These tunnels, these reality tunnels, promise safety but deliver estrangement. For they shrink the infinite mystery of human beings into cliches of pathology. Are you listening tonight? Have you weaponized Therapy-Speak? 1-800-920-1580. Have you told your partner you're a narcissist? You're toxic. I had one woman told me your mama should have raised you better. In the name of sweet baby Ray's barbecue sauce, when we come forward, the voice of reason gonna keep cooking. What up, y'all? What up? Can I get everybody to hit that like button? Thank you. Y'all going on. Damn, sheesh. Wow, that was a goof. Y'all in here wilding. What up, y'all? What up, what up, what up? Everybody got to hit the like button. I don't understand why there's a delay. So many, it's just a few people in here. 30 people, 21 likes. Please hit the like button if you're enjoying the information. If you're enjoying the setup. What up, Ida? Just because you may be right, don't mean you should say just any old thing. Lord. 10 people, hit that like button. Jack Brazen, what up, what up, what up? How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? What up, what up, what up? Lovers and lurkers, call in. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. 1-800-920-1580. Call me now, call me now, call me now. Call me now. Call me now.
have you been? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay, I'm going to stop you there because what you're doing right now is trauma dumping by answering that question negatively. And I do not have the capacity to hold space for your trauma at this moment. So I'm going to set a boundary with this conversation so that only I can answer that question because I had a really good day. No, I mean, I'm fine. I just, you said that your food was really, really good, and then you offered me a bite of it, and I took a bite of it, and I didn't think it was that good, so I'm just feeling really gaslit right now. Like, the fact that you were prioritizing your taste buds over my potential taste buds is very narcissistic, and I think that you should speak to somebody about it. Actually, by you telling me that I hurt your feelings, you were criticizing me, and I was heavily criticized as a child, so that is triggering to me, so I'm gonna need you to dial it back in, because when I am mean to you, it actually heals my inner child, and I need you to hold space for that. Otherwise, I will have to go no contact.
Alexandra. I love it. Alexandra Kopko, if I'm not mistaken. Andy, is that correct?
Her handle on TikTok is Alexandra Wide Eyes.
Oh, Alexandra Wide Eyes. That's her TikTok handle. Oh, but she broke down the therapy speak perfectly, right? Listen, the way a therapist speaks to you is trying to get you, A, to be okay, to be comfortable, to be safe in their environment, and then to be able to open up, right? First, to look at oneself, to evaluate. They may give you some exercises like journaling. They may ask you to read some books. They may ask you to do all of this to go on a particular type of journey, self-journey, to look within, right? Many people still, even after having been to a therapist numerous times, still are afraid to confront themselves, to deal with themselves, right? So they go into the situation. I know so many people, I just go there to vent, and depending on your therapist, their style, some therapists are hands-on. They're going to give you worksheets. They're going to get you to do certain exercises. They might ask you to go to yoga, whatever, meditation. Then there are some that are more reserved that sit back and observe, right? Really, the work is on you. Some people get the languaging and not the purpose of the languaging. Krishnamurti warned us against turning truth into ideology. To call someone toxic, right, may relieve the speaker momentarily, but it keeps the deeper question at bay. What in me is drawn to toxicity? Listen to that. Why is that attractive to me? Especially if it's been a reoccurring pattern. What in me is drawn to toxicity? What in me remains unresolved? That I see villains everywhere, but never in myself. The ego craves villains because villains justify its fortifications. This is why I call it a cloundry, not a boundary. If you're unhealed, all you're doing with boundaries is building walls. I once had a woman who I was dating for a long time. I was only, and this is when times were good, I was only unblocked on one of her social media platforms. I didn't find out I was blocked on everything else until it was over. But I have been blocked for years. I couldn't see the Facebook. I couldn't see Twitter or X. We started on Twitter. That's not a boundary. That's a cloundry. 1-800-920-50. I'm telling the truth. Again, the ego craves villains because villains justify fortifications, right? Dr. David R. Hawkins mapped consciousness, noting that shame, guilt, and fear vibrate at the lowest levels. Yet, what of weaponized compassion when empathy becomes a subtle tyranny, an ego trip dressed as virtue? Example, I'm holding space for you, but your unhealed trauma is too much for me. Translation, I need to I need to stay the hero, and you must remain the perpetual villain. This is not compassion. It is spiritualized condescension. When we come forward, the voice of reason, I'm going to the phone lines. What up, y'all? Titus? Everybody say what's up to Titus. Titus? Everybody say what's up to Titus. Titus sent me a cash app. Thank you, Titus. Can everybody say thank you to the brother Titus? Brother Titus, thank you. I want to know your feedback, guys. What do you guys think of tonight's topic? What are your thoughts?
You deserve a car that's the real deal. A car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, they've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself. Shop your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help?
Please, can everybody say thank you to Titus? It's not very many of us in here. I think it would be great for Titus to see his name up there. What up? Thank you, Titus.
From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade 10. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 15.
What up, what up, what up? How's everybody doing tonight? 8 more people. Hit that like button. We in here cooking. The number to dial. I encourage people to call in because I don't want to talk the whole show. I talked 90%, well, 85% of the show yesterday.
VOR, and I know you're tired
Please
of
call
pretty
in.
gyms with pretty lies, where people seem to scroll
I'm good.
more than they sweat.
I'm
Well,
tired.
it's time to level up. Welcome to Huff
My
and
workout
Puff,
today was
where
crazy.
excuses die and champions rise. Smack dab at 1221 North La Brea on the corner of Fairview. This ain't a photo shoot, it's a battleground. Certified achievers in the game. Trainers who grind with you, not post pictures beside you. Whether you're chasing your next personal record or just trying to outrun your past, this is your sanctuary of sweat. No mirrors, no filters, no
I'm back
fluff,
tomorrow at
just
5 a.m.
pain, passion, and purpose. Stop talking, start training, huff hard,
Three
puff loud,
times a week.
legendary, where folks go to war with their weaknesses. Huff and Puff.
My mom has decided to learn to paint,
I'm okay.
and she's good.
Thank you, Ida.
That's going to creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds. Learning
I
new
walked
things
5
comes
miles
with age.
today.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
It's coming together.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful...
Oh, y'all don't need to hear the commercials. Y'all not into the damn commercials, are you? Yep, 5 a.m. Commercials can be interesting. Hey, I'm trying to get it together. I want y'all to call in, though. Please. Please. 1-800-920-1580. And if there's anybody who want to follow Titus by just throwing a little piece of change on my Cash App, I'd appreciate it. Let's see what we on, True.
Saying no and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications completely available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind the scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Helpful for some people, but therapy didn't heal you. It just made your pain sound educated. Because you didn't stop hurting. You just learned how to talk about your pain in a way that made everyone else feel safe. You said inner child instead of abandonment. You said attachment style instead of fear that no one else will stay. You explained your triggers with full sentences, but your body was still bracing for that next door to slam shut. That wasn't healing. That was etiquette. You and I both know this. That was trauma that learned how to wash his hands before you did. That was performing safety in a world that only applauds survival if you say it calmly. And they praised you for that, didn't they? They said you were self-aware, said you were emotionally intelligent. They clapped hands for your composure, but then asked what it cost to hold it. Now you're fluent in healing talk, and you can name every wound, but sometimes you say I'm working on boundaries. But what you really mean is I'm tired of being taken from. See, therapy, weaponized therapy talk gets real serious. Because when you say I'm in my soft era, what you really mean is I'm too tired to fight anymore, and I hope my softness protects me this time. You didn't get better, you got fluent. And fluent pain is still pain. That's the whole trap of it. Because language without metabolization becomes performance. Insight without integration becomes a trauma echo. And that trauma echo becomes content in your life. So now your trauma is trending. Now your healing is a caption. You post your growth not because you've grown, but because you were taught that vulnerability is a strategy. But healing, real healing, doesn't require performance. We talked about this before. It needs presence. And presence doesn't always sound profound. Sometimes it sounds like I don't have the words for this yet. Sometimes it sounds like this still makes me want to scream. Sometimes it's just breath, just ache, just sitting when one refuses to be led. Right? What refuses to be fixed. Therapy gave you language. And I'm pro-therapy. It matters. It helped you survive. But it didn't teach you how to bleed without apology. It didn't teach you how to feel without narrating it. It didn't teach you how to stop needing your pain to be palatable. Because healing ain't cute. It ain't. It ain't curated, it ain't clean, it's ugly crying when no one's home. It's setting boundaries and then mourning the silence that follows. It's screaming into the steering wheel and not needing to turn that moment into a lesson. That's what it is. So no therapy didn't fix you, but it did give you a scaffold. It gave you a language and it gave you a mirror. And again, that matters. But real healing started when you stopped talking like a therapist and started listening like a wounded child. Oh, it's getting dark in here, y'all. I
Yeah. Hey, that's Def Poetry Jam. Come on. I love it. I love it. I love it. That was good. Never heard of that brother before. Justin Scott? Is that who it is, Andy? That's who I got over here is Justin Scott.
On TikTok.
Oh, this is another TikTok. Man, I thought I was watching Def Poetry Jam. Yeah, that was beautiful work, brother. Somebody said TikTok therapist. He is cooking though. Boy,
Justin Scott from TikTok.
Justin Scott from TikTok. We're going to give him his flowers. Listen, guys. Look at your therapist as training wheels. He said it. Justin just said it about therapy gives you a scaffolding, right? A framing, a framework. Therapists are training wheels. Like I said, I spoke to a psychological training wheels. I spoke to a therapist earlier today, and she said she's not in the business of keeping her clients. She wants her clients to be able to learn and then move on. Right? She was like, if I felt like job security was a problem, then of course, we need people to, join therapy sessions. But she was like, people are always going to struggle and they're always going to need a little help. And I'm educated to help people, but I'm not going to not give them the resources that they need to get better. The reality of it is they have to take those resources and implement them. A therapist can't do the work for you, but they can guide you to a point to where you say, you know what? I don't need these psychological training wheels any longer. Listen, Pema Chodron exhorts us to lean into discomfort. Yet Therapy-Speak often provides a sanctioned escape. Someone might declare, I can't engage with this. It's really not safe for me. Sometimes that's true, but oftentimes it's just their ego refusing to fire the discomfort. Refusing intimacy under the guise of quote unquote self-care is diabolical. That's right? Let me say it another way. Maybe it's not diabolical. Refusing intimacy under the guise of self-care, avoidance now has moral language. See, if you haven't dealt with or processed maybe your avoidant attachment style, and so you know that it might be a negative connotation associated with fearful avoidant or associated with a dismissive avoidant, you say, you know what, no. I'm refusing intimacy under self-care because that's now the new politically correct, morally sound buzzword. Oh, there's a self-care moment. I guess I gotta. But if you're doing it out of avoidance because intimacy is scary, do you see? You're manipulating with therapy speak. What do we call it? Therapies. We did a Womanese show. Now this is the therapies show, right? Eckhart Tolle, one of my favorites, reminds us that the ego thrives on identification. In Weaponized Therapy-Speak, we do not just describe, we become the diagnosis. How many times have you guys heard me say to you on this show, don't identify if you have with your insecure attachment style. If you've been diagnosed with an insecure attachment style, anxious, preoccupied, dismissive avoidant, or fearful avoidant, i.e. disorganized, if you've been diagnosed with an insecure attachment style, it is not like, oh, I'm a Scorpio. I'm a Gemini. I'm an Aquarius. I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Leo. No. We are not identifying with it. It is merely it's a diagnosis to say, hey, this is how these people show up. But guess what? Every insecure attachment style can be recontextualized. Every insecure attachment style can be healed. You can be, once you know what to work on, you can say, oh, I can move towards secure now, right? Anxious, preoccupied. Oh, they left me. They broke my heart. They took advantage of it. Oh my God. Okay, let's learn how to pull back. Because chasing after them, calling them, trying to explain yourself, you can never explain anything to an unwilling ear. That's the biggest lesson that an anxious, preoccupied needs to learn. Stop calling them. Stop showing up at the job. Stop showing up uninvited at the family picnic. You out the family now. Do you understand? The AP will chase. The avoidant will pull back. Do you see? Actually implementing the work and not just the terminology, right? In weaponized therapy speak, we do not just describe, we become the diagnosis. I'm anxious, preoccupied. I'm codependent. I'm traumatized. Never say these things. Never give these things life. If you know language, right, is the voice of spells. So you could write a spell in a book, but the voice of spells, the resonance of spells is when we speak them, right? I'm traumatized. These identities become prisons mistaken for liberation. Again, one of my favorites, Paramahansa Yogananda and Sri Yukteswar would call this Maya, the great illusion, where language obscures the higher self rather than revealing it. The soul is silence, yet we drown it in therapeutic rhetoric. You guys ever read the book by David Deida, The Way of the Superior Man? In that book, David Deida argued that polarity, masculine and feminine, right, requires embodied presence. But in modern relationships, erotic charge collapses under diagnostic fire. Lovers become clinicians, trading terms instead of touches. That's your inner child. That's your disorganized attachment. Stop gaslighting. The electric rawness of naked vulnerability is buried beneath taxonomies. Again, another one of my favorites, Rumi. He warned, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. That field is intimacy without weapon. Yet today we rarely meet there. Instead, we meet in courtrooms of jargon, filing lawsuits of language, demanding compensation through guilt. Oh my God. Demanding compensation through guilt? The voice of reason is in here acting a fool. Are you talking to crazy? Has your partner gone to therapy and come back and tried to put you on your couch? I want to know. The voice of reason is on fire tonight. When we come forward, we're going to the phone lines. This time, I promise.
Relationships. Got you confused? Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical.
Hey, who's calling?
That actually works.
I got Attila on the line. Only have one caller. I don't like it. One caller is not enough. Pharaoh L, what up? How do you feel is the only question? I'm not sure that I understand. You guys might be having a conversation.
And we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been
The heart is
affected by the
deceitful
wildfires
above
in
all
Altadena,
things. You about to
Palisades,
cook,
and
huh?
discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at quinemanual.com. 443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580. Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
It's all good. I appreciate everybody for the likes. We did a great job on those likes. Thank you guys. Let me ask a question. Do you guys think the topics are too deep? Too nuanced? Black Superman, call in and let's have a conversation. I guarantee we can get down to the bottom of it. No, because some people might not, you know. You heard what Leroy said. See, look, Pharaoh L said yes. Pharaoh, honestly, I'd appreciate your feedback. You think the topics are too deep? Share your thoughts. I'm interested to know. Jack Brazen, not too deep. I mean, there should be more people commenting. It's not a lot of people in here, but the same 4 or 5 people are commenting. Who are the lurkers? If I could expose you all, I would. Because I don't like the hoverer in the background studying. Show yourselves. What the hell? It's like peeping Toms while working on art. What up, Terry?
I want to look at what is. There must be a great deal of things involved in it, right? Because we have looked. I know I'm greedy, but it doesn't do anything. Greed is a feeling. I have looked at that feeling, named greed. The word is not the thing. But we may be mistaken the word for the thing. No, this is not intellectual, it's very simple. I may be quoting words, but not with fact. The fact is I'm greedy. The word is very complex, that's why you should go into this very deeply. The word may incite that feeling. Can the mind be free of the word and look? You follow what I'm saying? So I must first learn whether the word has become important to me in my life. Am I a slave to words?
Somebody get Krishnamurti a cough drop.
That the word is not the thing. So, word becomes important when the fact is not real, actual to us. I would rather look at a picture of a mountain than go and look at a mountain.
Ooh.
Right? To look at a mountain, I have to go great distance, climb, look, observe, feel. But by looking at a picture of a mountain, it's a picture. It's a symbol, it's not reality. So, are we quoting words? If you're quoting words, then you are moving away from the fact. So, does the word create the feeling of greed? Or is there a greed without the word? This requires, you understand, examination requires tremendous discipline. Not suppression, no other. The very inquiry and the pursuit in that inquiry has its own discipline. So I have to find out very carefully whether the word has created the feeling or the feeling exists without the word. The word is greed. I've named it. I've named it because I've had that feeling before. So, I am registering the present feeling by a past incident of the same kind. So, the present has been absorbed into the past. Are you interested in all this?
Are you interested in all of this?
I realize what I'm doing. I'm aware of what is happening. What is happening is that the word has become extremely important to me. So then, is there a freedom from the word?
Woo.
Communist, socialist, etc., etc. Greed, envy, national, so on. Is there a freedom from the word? The word is the past, right? Feeling is the past. No, feeling is the present, recognized by the word as the past. So I'm living all the time in the past. So the past is me. The past is time. So time is me. Look what I'm discovering. Come on. Time is me. So, the me says, I must not be angry.
I had to let him cook. The past is me. I'm sorry, I had to let him cook. Let him cook. He cooked. Hey, did he cook or not? I'm not using my computer to watch this. What is the name of the video he's speaking in? Because I can't click the link you shared. Got it.
Your relationship is in trouble, I'm gonna do the call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes? Financial infidelity? I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy. How about the heavy stuff? The child wasn't here, and you still had to pay.
Are we caught in words? Krishnamurti.
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss it. This okay. Roll down.
You told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. Hit you with a bad touch routine. How does he maintain his pomposity?
He likes it when it pinches the nip.
Why can't you open up, brother? I'm a karate man. Karate man on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses. Yeah.
How do you write William so well?
So William, reason and accountability. The voice of reason.
Biologists go out to study zebras, and they're like making notes on a zebra, and they watch it, and then they look down at the notes, and then they look up, and they think, oh, I don't know which zebra I was looking at. So the camouflage is actually against the herd, because a zebra is a herd animal, not an individual. So this was a quandary for the biologists, so they did one of two things. One was use a dab of red paint and dab the haunch of the zebra, or tag it with an ear tag like you use for cattle. The lions would kill it. So as soon as it became identifiable, the predators could organize their hunt around that identifiable animal. That's why there's the old idea that lions and predators take down the weak animals, but they don't. They take down the identifiable animals. So that's the thing, is if you stick your damn head up, you get picked off by the predators. And so one of the things that academics seem to do is congregate together in herd-like entities, and then they share a language. The language unites them. As long as they share the same set of linguistic tools among themselves, it's group protection strategy.
So let's ask the question. Your group of friends. Are you guys using trauma-reinforced language? Language that is designed to protect your wounds. And when I say protect your wounds, I don't mean protect them in the sense of, oh, we don't want any harm caused to them. I mean protect them in the sense of we will keep them isolated so they can continue to thrive and live and operate this government within my spirit. They are at the head of my spiritual government, my unhealed wounds. We have to put walls up around them. I'm wondering, do we choose our friendship circles and our relationships to actually stand guard over these patterns that we have been conditioned to survive with? Very interesting stuff. Tonight's topic is on complete fire. We're talking about the weaponization therapy speak, the language that therapists use. You've heard these terms: toxic, narcissistic, gaslighting, trauma bond, boundaries, red flags. You've heard it all. Safe space. When you use words like toxic or narcissist, are you naming a truth or outsourcing your accountability behind a wall of labels? Krishnamurti once said, we don't use language. Language uses us. Right? Folk going to therapy to get bullets, to get psychological bullets, guns and ammunition, so they can shoot at their partner from an informed space, so they can reinforce where they are. Does the language of healing become another addiction when it is used to avoid the labor of healing itself? Listen, healing gonna have you hurting. Y'all want to hear that? Do y'all want to listen tonight? Fine. Healing will have you hurting. That's part of the healing process. And it's human nature to avoid that which hurts. Do you see? If Krishnamurti claimed truth is a pathless land, why do we keep turning therapy speak into a map of moral superiority? Man, your journey is your journey. Lady, my journey is mine. I'm not here to judge the steps you are taking towards whatever your spiritual purpose or goal is. And you shouldn't be judging my steps. But we do. But why? Is the misuse of boundaries simply another form of control disguised as self-protection? What happens when the nervous system is more honest than the words the ego constructs to hide it? Are you setting boundaries or building prisons and calling it liberation? If Dr. David R. Hawkins calibrated consciousness, where would you rank the frequency of weaponized compassion? Listen to what I'm saying. Are y'all ready for tonight? Listen, do we prefer talking about trauma bonds because it allows us to remain bonded to our trauma rather than releasing it? You can't release it until you get inside of it. Right now, it's inside of you, but you got to get inside the trauma, live in the trauma, go into your trauma apartment and accept it and embrace it without judgment and love on it from a real space. It'll dissolve. It'll dissolve. It lives in your resistance. Every time you resist looking at the wound, you elevate it in your spirit. Did you hear what At what point does naming my triggers become a strategy to trigger others into silence? Listen, are you ready for this work? Is therapy speak the new religion? With gaslighting, codependency, and red flags as its catchphrases. Are you truly seeking intimacy, or are you using the jargon of intimacy to maintain emotional distance? Krishnamurti, we talked about him a lot tonight. I have others. Alfred Korzybski. Krishnamurti said the words are using us, right? Alfred Korzybski, the map is not the territory. He was talking about language. He created a language called E prime, English prime, without the verb to be or is, because scientists and their math was getting so advanced that the mathematical equations were describing reality that our words couldn't put into words. So they had to create a new type of English that had nothing to do with is, are, or to be. Those verbs. I can't say what something is because at the subnuclear level, things have merged into one conscious, aware source. Yeah, an electron appeared. And then it went back we don't know what it is. Do you see? They had to change the language. It appears to me that an electron has manifested itself within this field. It appears that way. I don't know if that's true or not. Do you see? It was Alfred Korzybski who said the map is not the territory. What did he mean by that? The map represents our internal models, perceptions, and interpretations. There's the language of the world. This includes everything from scientific theories and financial models to personal beliefs and assumptions. That is the map. Are our modern maps telling the truth about about Africa's true size in relation to the other land masses on the planet Earth? Are they lying about the actual size of Africa? See, the map is not the territory. The map is a symbol, a model of the actual reality. Words are a model, a linguistic model of how we feel. No, I'm not greedy. Krishnamurti said, no, look inside. Does greed live in you? What, yes, we call it greed, but whatever that feeling is, does that live in you? Look in there and see. That's the real work. No, I'd rather take the therapy language and look deep, right? Do you see? Look. So we talk about the map. Represents our internal models, perceptions, and interpretations of the world. The territory refers to the actual reality, the external world, and the complex, multifaceted nature of things as they truly exist. Do you really love that person? I'm not talking about the word. I'm talking about the vibration, the frequency. Are you really in that frequency? Or do you pimp the word out? Did you hear us? Are you pimping the word? Right? Weaponizing it to create emotional distance while also hooking them in. I love you. Ooh, are you listening? Alfred Korzybski was not playing with y'all. He says, there are two ways to slide easily through life: to believe everything or to doubt everything. Both ways save us from thinking. The objective level is not words and cannot be reached by words alone. We must point our finger and be silent, or we will never reach this level. Alfred Korzybski. The book is called Science and Sanity, an introduction to non-Aristotelian systems and general semantics. Why non-Aristotelian? He's talking about Aristotle. Aristotle laid the framework for black and white thinking. So Alfred Korzybski comes along as a linguist, a Polish-American linguist, and said, you know what? No. This language that we have is a little broken. It was Aristotelian logic that said it's either this or that. It's either right or wrong, right? And although it didn't create black and white thinking, it lended to it greatly because that's Aristotelian logic. It's either this or that, right? So this E prime introduces the ambiguity of life. Once the scientists cracked the atom, then went to subnuclear, right? We're in the nucleus of the atom now. The atomic bomb went hydrogen. Once we start going further and further into reality, our language models didn't work. Imagine what love really feels like. You got love from a record. You got love from a social tradition. February 14th. You got, listen what I'm about to say. You got love from a ceremony. The etymological root of the word ceremony, it means symbol. I've always said on this show, guess what? It's easy to get the symbol, but it's much more difficult to get what the symbol symbolizes. This is what he means by the map is not the territory. The map is the symbol, the ritual. Guess what? The whole wedding. The ring, the dress, the bridegrooms, bride, all that is a symbol. Do you have what it symbolizes? If words are not things, or maps are not the actual territory of reality, then obviously the only possible link between the objective world and the linguistic world is found in structure and structure alone. Are you hearing what's being laid down tonight? We would rather have the structure of the language to make it look like we're making progress, because no one has the courage to look bad while they're growing up. Did you They don't want to look bad while they're growing up. They don't want to look forlorn while they're healing. That's part of the healing process. If B.F. Skinner was right that behavior is conditioned, are we now conditioning each other with jargon instead of presence? When you say I feel unsafe, are you describing danger or demanding control? There are people out there who do this. We act like it's not real, but it is. Does weaponized empathy mask a deeper refusal to fear? And listen, when I come forward, I know I've been saying this all night. The voice of reason is going to the phone lines because people do want to talk. Let's get it in. Is this making any sense to y'all? Is it? Yes, no? Terry, all right. Attila. Black Superman, you should have been called in, homie. Jack Brazen. So, we're getting close to October. How many of you guys are into scary movies?
I know it's trendy right now to start every hot take with, well, my therapist said, but I want to make something clear. Just because a therapist said it doesn't make it true. We are not infallible. We are not objective all the time. We are humans who study a social science, not scientists in a lab with unchanging laws. What we offer is shaped by our education and training, our personal biases and beliefs, our lived experiences, and sometimes those unhealed parts, and the frameworks that we choose to practice from. So if you're using my therapist said to validate what you already think, or to shut down someone else's experience, or to make your narrative feel more credible, I need you to pause for a second, because therapists don't always hand out universal truths. We have to find your truth, and if we're doing our job right, we're not making you dependent on what we say. We're helping you think deeper, live freer, and become more of yourself. So the next time that you want to quote your therapist, I want you to ask yourself, is this your truth, my truth, or is this just confirmation? Because there's a difference.
Man, Raquel, man, she be sniping. She be cooking. And again, back to general semantics. Alfred Korzybski. A map is not the territory it represents, but if correct, it has a similar structure to the territory, which accounts for its usefulness. Any proposition containing the word is creates a linguistic structural confusion which will inevitably give birth to serious fallacies. Now, think psychology. The reason why it is the study of mental and behavioral patterns is because the psychologists figured out early on, I don't know what's in your head. I don't know. I can't experience our relationship from your unique perspective. I can only look at your behaviors and your mental patterns. Do you see? The map is not the territory. I can't say what you are, no more than a theoretical physicist can say, hey, does that electron pop into existence because it is aware that I want to observe it? Like, I don't know what it's doing. So they had to change the language for physics. E prime. English without the verbs is or to be. Imagine if you stop telling your partner what they are. You know, you lazy. You know what? You lack motivation. Well, I didn't go to school for psychology, but I see your patterns. You lazy. Right? The map is not the territory. Now, if you're dealing with people, like I said, who don't really want to do the healing work because the healing work hurts, guess what? They're going to steal the languaging so it'll look like they understand what's going on. Attila from Houston, Texas is on the line. Attila, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
I feel you cooking.
Little bit.
You cooking.
Little bit. Let's get it.
I'm gonna be quick. So I think in terms of this whole weaponized language thing, is the purpose being to either take back or maintain like a modicum of control. And so if you lost said control. And I really feel like it's kind of like a clever version of learned helplessness in a certain way. Because we're putting the onus on whoever we're talking about. So, for example, my therapist said, kind of like Raquel mentioned. And the other thing is, I noticed this kind of coming more so from like wounded, anxious, preoccupied, or just people who deal with anxiety in general, especially if you're like an overgiver, because there's that constant need to be on the defense so that it doesn't happen again. There's that. The other part is this also, some people might find this controversial, but I feel like there's a religious subset here too with the Christianese. People say, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know those little sayings that we have that are not in the Bible, like God knows my heart.
Keep going. I'm right with you. Keep going.
But then you have like Jeremiah 17:9, which says the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
Who can know it? Come on.
And it even says, like, says the Lord searches your heart and tests your mind. So I say all that to say, I feel like a lot of this is just a defensive posture in the midst of trying to heal. But, you know, you end up pushing people away because you're not really speaking from what you actually feel. You're more so speaking about what you think you know. And it's not even truly the full picture. This is what someone else has given you, a map, as you said, a template that you're choosing to take part in that doesn't really fit who you truly are because you have yet to find that. So that's it.
Girl. How can you express your love, right? Someone you deeply love. How can you express that love? Emote that love. Project that love without words. How would you do it?
How would I do it? I would just be love. I don't even know how to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know how to like describe that because it wouldn't be something that I would do. Like truly, I think in the moments where I realize that you know I love someone, or like I'm even thinking like with family, I'm not really even questioning my actions. I'm not weighing things on some sort of scale to see if I'm overgiving. I'm just being me. Like part of that for me is showing love, is showing up, is being present. Like that's
there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Attila, you just the presence piece. Stevie Wonder, the great Stevie Wonder, doesn't have sight, but all of his other senses have been heightened. Can you imagine if you took away the words and it heightened your presence? How that love might feel? Stay right there. When we come forward, the voice of reason go keep cooking. What up? Lloyd Hinton. Lloyd Hinton. What up? Hey, man. Hey, Truemonger. Lloyd Hinton, thank you for the Cash App. Thank you, Lloyd. Can everybody thank Lloyd? We got 2 Cash Apps on the night. And no Super Chats. August has been one of the slowest months ever. But I'm believing that things are going to turn around. I'm believing that things are going to turn around. But Truemonger, man, listen, dog. Hey, man, what's wrong with Truemonger, dog? I think they are blocking people from super chatting. This is crazy. Has anybody had any difficulty super chatting? Because if that's the case, please just go to my Cash App if you want to support. He says Stevie Wonder was Daredevil. What the fuck? My test for overcoming avoidant people is meeting avoidant people. That's great. Oh, hell. Rashi McGuire. Man, your first super chat to this channel. Thank you, fam. Man, Rashi McGuire must felt like this is good content. Can everybody shout out Rashi? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Stay with me, Attila. Much love. We appreciate it. And I know it's towards the end of the month, and when it gets towards the end of the month, everybody's belt tightens up, man. Everybody's belt tightens up. Like everybody got that tight belt. No, so I get it. I get it. Y'all, you forgot what you said? Do y'all remember Attila's last statement? She said something quite profound. Because I forgot to. Does anybody remember what Attila's last statement was? Where's nephew when you need him? Suge Mac 510. Does anybody remember? What? Squirrel boy. Okay. What is going? About knowing your heart. Oh yeah, I did say that. Thank you, True. Andy got the playlist popping. I gave some options. And I'm gonna make a couple of more like that, Andy. Acting like my uncle.
trapped in linguistic constructs. All that is metaphor. I believe somebody said that before me. I've decided we can't get beyond words. What we got to do is get more cynical about our words. You'll find that by dispensing with is and trying to reformulate without is, you just naturally fall into the kind of expression which is considered acceptable in modern science. And also, it's the type of consciousness that Zen Buddhism tries to induce. Using E prime, you will understand modern science and Zen Buddhism both a lot better than you've ever understood them before. Martin Gardner has written a long essay proving that to think like this will destroy your mind. I think it adds tremendously to clarity. I am removing the is from my writing more and more. Removing it from your speech is even harder. Instead of thinking the grass is green, or to think the grass appears green to me. That would save me a lot of time, by the way. I don't get embroiled in arguments like Beethoven is better than Mozart, or rock is better than soul. I define such things as meaningless. And so people get into arguments like that, I just say, well, Beethoven seems better to me than Mozart most of the time. I don't say Beethoven is better than Mozart. I would tend to improve my thinking whenever I find myself getting angry at somebody, or feeling depressed or hopeless, or having negative emotional states in general. Once you take out all the is's out of all your negative statements, you find out they're all relative to how you feel at the moment.
So think about negative self-talk. I am not enough. My life is worthless. Do you see? Do you see? What? I'm always the victim. Somebody is always trying to take advantage of me. Do you see? Do you see? Look at what's happening. Even in the sports world, LeBron is better than Kobe. What? Right? LeBron is the GOAT. Huh? First off, black excellence is on a continuum. What are we doing? They're all connected to each other. Dr. J is connected to Jordan, right? Connected to Magic. Like it's on a continuum. Kareem, Wilt, it's on a continuum. And the level that we're at today wouldn't be possible without the preceding levels. But the way our society is set up, it is to induce logical fallacies. This is what the wounded person, the broken person who wants to weaponize therapy speak is doing. They use those words to try to justify their position of victimhood, of it wasn't my fault. Ooh, Lord, here we go. Attila, you was talking about somebody heart, child. How we get that heart back? Yes, are you there?
Yes, child. I'm going to drop my phone. This is too good.
Nah, because I got questions for you now.
Okay.
Come on, slugger. Are you ready? I got questions for you.
Why I got to be the example?
Come on, slugger. Let's go. Look for the fences, Niece.
I'm going to try.
Is therapy speak?
Mm-hmm.
Or can it be said that therapy speak poses as the armor of the ego, or the cry of the soul longing to be seen through that armor? Could therapy speak be used in that way? Like, I got to use this terminology to kind of protect myself.
100%. 100%. I think I had mentioned in one of the questions I sent to you that this is really a form of like spiritual othering.
You can even say
Ooh.
like it's a way to create like a spiritual hierarchy. Like I'm wounded and that makes me special. But it really doesn't. I hope that answered your question.
No, that's there. It's not over. If love appears to be the ground of being, according to Yogananda Paramahansa Yogananda and Dr. David R. Hawkins, what happens when language becomes the barrier instead of the bridge to this ground of being? What happens when the word has more meaning than the actual territory, reality of love? Talk to me.
I would think that you would be stuck in a purgatory of doing. Like,
Ooh.
is like transactional, right? Like that's kind of where we're at right now. That's why things are so transactional, and everything that we say is a matter of standards and boundaries. And really, again, it's just another way to, again, like I said, maintain or take back control. That's all it is. But even that's an illusion, because if you had the control to begin with, you wouldn't even be in the situation.
Hell no. Hell no. Who they gotta be for you? E Prime says get rid of the right. E Prime says get rid of is, are, and to be. Why do they have to be something for us?
And that is so rough, because I feel like we use be. I'm thinking about this because I used to teach ESL. I taught ESL for 3 years, and we always taught the form of be as in like the present. So I feel like it's our mind's way of like trying to accept the present. But I mean, we're overly focused on the past or the future a lot of times. So I mean, you know, it's very confusing to language learners. But I'm not gonna nerd out on that.
All right, no. Hold tight though. Hold tight. I got one more question for you, then I'm gonna let you go. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
How often are we gaslighting ourselves by misusing psychological lingo to justify staying small? Hold that thought when we come forward. Back to Houston, Texas. Niece. My niece is like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. What up, royalty? Ponder on this side of the game. I hope you guys are enjoying tonight's topic. Who is this? Davy Lee. Thank you, Davy Lee. I appreciate that. Thank you. We got 2 super chats, and I'm grateful. And I think we got 2 cash apps. Let me see. Yes, 2 cash apps. So I'm thankful. So Attila, think about it. How often are we gaslighting ourselves by misusing psychological language to justify staying small? How often are we gaslighting ourselves by misusing psychological language to justify staying small? Jumper. So the first preseason game is tomorrow. I'm waiting for the youngster to send me the link. And that's even if it's being televised. Yeah. How often are we gaslighting ourselves by misusing psychological language to justify staying small? This show did fly. Yes, for his second season in Turkey. We be FaceTiming. Which I think is cool. Staying small, not growing, yes.
ఇదంతా కూడా మానవ సృష్టి.
Everything outside is the creation of man.
నర సృష్టికి నారాయణ సృష్టికి సన్నిహిత సంబంధ బాంధవ్యం ఉంటుండాలి.
There should be intimate relationship between God's creation and
బింబము
man.
అది ప్రతిబింబము.
One is the object, the other one is the
బింబతో
reflection.
బింబముల యొక్క సంబంధం అనేటువంటి దానికి మధ్యలో ప్రకృతి అనేటువంటి అర్థం ఉంటుండాలి.
Between this relationship of object and reflection, there is the mirror.
అయితే ఈ ప్రకృతి భావమును మనం ఏనాడు మనము దూరం గావించమో ఆనాడు బింబ ప్రతిబింబం రెండు ఏకమైపోతాయి.
The moment you get rid of this feeling of mirror of nature, you'll understand the unity.
ఈ మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ లోపల 3 మైనస్ 1 ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు అంటారు.
In mathematics, it is said 3 minus 1 is equal to 2.
కానీ ఆధ్యాత్మికమైనటువంటి యొక్క ఈ యొక్క లెక్కలేందు 3 మైనస్ 1 ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ 1 అంటుంది.
But in spiritual mathematics, 3 minus 1 is just 1.
ఎట్లయింది?
How is it possible?
ఒక మిర్రర్ ముందు నీవు వెళ్ళినావు.
You are in front of the mirror.
ఆ మిర్రర్ ముందు పోయి నీవు ప్రతిబింబానికి నమస్కారం చేశావు.
You pay your respects in front of your
ఇక్కడ
mirror.
ఎన్ని ఉంటున్నాయి?
How many exist there?
నీవు నీ ప్రతిబింబము అర్థము 3 ఉంటున్నాయి.
Here there are 3. You, your reflection and the mirror.
కానీ ఈ అద్దము తీసివేస్తే ప్రతిబింబం కూడా పోతుంది, నీవు ఒక్కడే ఉంటావు.
When once you remove the mirror, there's no more of reflection. You remain.
నీవు అనేటువంటిది దైవత్వము.
You stand for divinity.
ఈ ప్రతిబింబం అనేటువంటిది జీవత్వము.
Reflection is just humanity.
ఈ యొక్క అద్దము అనేటువంటిది ప్రకృతి.
The mirror is nature.
ఈ ప్రకృతి అనే అద్దములో నీవు ప్రతిబింబించేంత వరకు నీవు వేరుగానే ఉంటావు.
So long you reflect in the mirror of nature, you exist
ప్రకృతి
separate.
యొక్క భావమనే అద్దము తీసివేస్తే దాంతో పాటు జీవత్వం అనేటువంటి ప్రతిబింబం కూడా పోతుంది.
The moment you get away from the worldly feeling, you will not have the individual entity.
కనుకనే మన దేహం అనేటువంటి
Oh, I love Sai Bob. He's so aggressive. He don't even wait for his translator to finish. He be like, come on, man, I got more jewels to drop. What are we doing? Come on. Speed up your transit. Why are you trying to be all majestic with the deep voice? I got things to say. Hey, but that mirror metaphor was real. Yes. That mirror metaphor was real. But let me get back to it. I gotta get my niece back in here because she had an answer for this question. How often are we gaslighting ourselves by misusing psychological language to justify staying small? That was your question, niece. Do you have an answer?
Yeah.
I know you do,
I
child.
hope it'll suffice. I don't know. Well, I feel like anytime the ego is activated, we're primed to do that. So even you think about the commonality of the word triggered, I'm triggered. Like, in what?
Right.
So I would say anytime your ego is challenged, right? So if you're feeling overwhelmed, overlooked, those things that activate your childhood wounds, you're trying to misuse language in a way that is, again, don't give you that control. Period, point blank. It's going to set up a sign that says, hey, don't cross this line. And what's interesting about this is I really feel like the only reason why we obey one another's cues is because we are prideful ourselves, right? Like, my ego is activated, so I'm going to fake respect your boundary that you placed here, even though it's really just a way for both of us not to grow.
Wow, fake respect? That's big. Wow, that's crazy. Attila, my niece. Guess what you just did, child?
I brought Houston in the building.
You brought Houston, Texas in the building. We lost a few callers that called in, but it's all good. Let me just say, girl, every time I have you on, you cook with the rarest grease. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I really do.
All right, so there it is. Let me get to my final little wrap up here. Again, I try to point things out just so we can observe. I'm not trying to be right or wrong or correct or condemning of others. I'm not. Okay? But I will say this. The world has taught us all to be master manipulators. And some people say, oh, well, not all, not everybody. That's the easiest defense. You said all. Oh, okay. Some but all. Most but not all. How about that? Mumbanall. But the reality of it is that's who we're running into. And you say, well, why do we run into these type of people? Because there's aspects of ourselves that need to be seen by us. So we run into a lesson, right? It's not about them, but we make it about them and we kind of miss the point of it all, right? Someone who would weaponize the words of a therapist is not someone who is serious about healing. They're serious about concealing. They're serious about controlling. What's interesting is I love Alfred Korzybski's work. You guys should get his book, Alfred Korzybski, Korzybski. He has a book called Manhood of Humanity, The Science and Art of Human Engineering. He has Science and Sanity, an Introduction to Non-Aristotelian Systems and General Semantics. That's the one you should get. But the quote I'm reading now comes from Manhood of Humanity, The Science and Art of Human Engineering. And this quote is a quote that I placed in my 2021 book, The Shrouded Lighthouse, How to Discover the Silver Lining in Any Situation Shift. And this quote is incredible. Definitions create conditions. Oh, I'm a dismissive avoidant. I'm an anxious preoccupied. No, you're not. You can never be something that is a symbol. You're more than a symbol. You are reality itself. And we have to get away from weaponizing or the weaponization of therapy speak and, using it to kind of, hold our ego's transformation at bay. Relationally, right? In both its intrapersonal and interpersonal dimensions. It reveals itself less as a sanctuary of healing and more as the theater of survival. Relationships, modern relationships. The modern lexicon of therapy speak, toxic, triggered, gaslighting, boundaries, red flags, has emerged both as shield and sword in this theater. What began as language to liberate suffering has, in many cases, mutated into the ego's final defense mechanism, a sophisticated arsenal for avoiding transformation while maintaining the illusion of self-awareness. The unhealed ego does not resist wisdom directly. It appropriates wisdom, bends it, and retools it into armor. Again, I start the conversations. It's really up to you to finish them, to do the work. I'll be back tomorrow for my Friday with yet another slapper. This whole week has been outstanding. Great work, y'all. Great work. Much love. Great love. Great work. Appreciate y'all. I'm out. It's just that quick, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yep.